hapon sa ating lahat. Bati sa mga magtatapos. Finally, it has come to this day, the 25th of July 2021, that is, in all your efforts to fulfill all the requirements for your sought-after degree programs have come to fruition. These fruits of your labor must be shared with all those who made it possible, notwithstanding the other roles that you play as employees, as members of families, as members of organizations and communities, together with the problems that we all confront given our country's predicament. It must be a day of rejoicing and celebrations, and feelings of relief, perhaps also a momentary respite before you start anew and or afresh. In a moment of solitude, thoughts cross your mind. What now? What else? And you have your units earned, your diploma, your transcript of records, and your degree that you will add to your curriculum intake. But all this will take you now depends on your possible review or revision of your career paths, your travel and other plans, and perhaps also on your own thoughts that beleaguer our country, our less fortunate people as a whole. For that last concern is what sets you apart from the rest of the crowd. UP education is decidedly unselfish, even selfless. Dedication to the service of the people. It is your education and your knowledge that build the character and the resolve to honor your own personal creed makes this institution, the University of the Philippines, not only the greatest threat to the oppressive social condition, but also the biggest hope of the people for a just and prosperous society and nation for this generation and the rest to come. Magandang hapon po sa atin.
Magandang hapon, salamat siyam. It is my honor to introduce Professor Vedi Hadis. Professor Hadis is Director and Professor of Asian Studies at the Asia Institute in the University of Melbourne, where he also serves as Assistant Deputy Vice-Chancellor International. His research interests revolve around political sociology and political economy issues, especially those related to the contradictions of development in Indonesia and Southeast Asia more broadly, and also more recently in the Middle East. His books include Islamic Populism in Indonesia and the Middle East with Cambridge University Press in 2016, and Localizing Power in Indonesia, a Southeast Asia Perspective with Stanford University Press in 2010. He has been a visiting scholar in Paris, The Hague, Kyoto, and New Delhi. He is also an adjunct professor at the Department of Sociology at the University of Indonesia. Please welcome Professor Vedi Hadis.
Hello, I'm Vedi Hadis. I'm Professor of Asian Studies and Director of the Asia Institute at the University of Melbourne. I'd like to congratulate the Asian Center at the University of the Philippines for on the occasion of its graduating of 12 students under very difficult circumstances that we're all experiencing now due to the pandemic. I would specifically also extend my congratulations to the students themselves who have been successful in navigating through the various complex problems of study under these pandemic conditions, and to be able to complete their studies and to graduate on this day. So congratulations to the institution and congratulations to the students and also, of course, to all of the professors, lecturers and instructors and administrative staff that had made this all possible. I have, in my capacity as a researcher on Asia, had the good fortune of making lots of connections with various academics over the years, in the Asian Center and the University of the Philippines more broadly. And these experiences have been extremely valuable, I found, in terms of developing my own understanding, not just of the Philippines, but of understanding the way that specific socio-economic and political conditions in an individual country are so interrelated and intertwined with developments in the broader region and the broader global setting. I think this is something that is important to remember for everybody who works on Asian studies, because of the tendency for many of us to be focused, and I'm not saying that this is incorrect, but many of us to be focused on specific countries of specialization. The trick, I think, is to be a specialist if we want to be, but without being parochial about that specialization, and therefore to be always mindful that our case studies, our focus of analysis is always intertwined with broader developments, that any social phenomenon that we think is worth investigating in our respective countries of specialization or even region, like Southeast Asia, it is almost inevitably in this interlinked world that we lived in, intertwined with similar phenomena that occur all over the world. So it is my hope that this sort of understanding of Asia and Asian studies is one that many of you will carry with you to the world as you graduate from the Asian Center at the University of the Philippines. Now, I say this with a very strong understanding that it is not always easy to be Asia specialist now in the world, because in spite of all the rhetoric about the Asian century and similar kinds of labels, in actuality, Asian studies, which in America, in particular, falls under area studies, has actually been increasingly marginalized from the academic and scholarly agenda. And this has been because of, I think, a rather myopic and in its way parochial as well, emphasis or re-emphasis on disciplines, on traditions and scholarly trends and methodologies that are inherent to specific disciplines. Whereas those of us who work in this field called Asian studies tend to be, I think, and rightly, I believe, interdisciplinary in our tendencies, that even though we may identify as sociologists or political scientists or economists or historians or anthropologists, that we are more willing to be interdisciplinary in our outlook. And I think that is potentially something that will provide richness in our analysis, in our work, that those who are too ensconced, I think, too parochially in their respective disciplines will never have. So please do continue to adopt and to advance and to promote interdisciplinary perspectives that are so inherent in the traditions of Asian studies, where history meets politics, meets sociology, meets anthropology, meets economics, and then we get something that is more comprehensive and deep and fundamental than can be provided by analyses that are too imprisoned by worldviews shaped by fads and trends within specific disciplines. The other thing that I would encourage those who work in Asian studies, and this goes back to something that I alluded to earlier, and that is to understand your specific country of specialization in relation to the broader region and the world, is to, I think, to instill within yourselves and to promote and advocate for comparative analyses, not in the sort of formalistic sense that one often finds in comparative politics or comparative sociology, but in the sense that was promoted by past masters of Asian studies, that to which we, whether we agree with them or not academically, owe an intellectual debt. People like Benedict Anderson, James Scott, Clifford Geertz, these sorts of people who, even though they focused on specific countries, or even sort of very specific localities at times, would always think about how their case study actually fares in terms of comparative analyses. And therefore, from that point of view, I think we'd be less vulnerable to accusations that are often put to us that, oh, we are only able to speak about things that are Asia or Asia related, that things that are Asia or Asian or Asia related do not have greater theoretical meaning. I think that we have seen that throughout the many decades, that much of the theoretical literature about state building, about nationalism, about development, about identity, have actually come from those who specialize on Asian studies. And yet there is still the accusation that Asian studies is or can be atheoretical, etc. And I think it'd be great if this current generation of new scholars of Asia can do better than my generation and maybe the generation before me, in terms of dispelling these sorts of myths and to put Asia front and center in theoretical and broader debates about things like state building, identity, development, nationalism, etc. It's a difficult time to be a young academic right now, because internationally, at least, jobs are a bit more difficult to find than they were maybe 10 years ago. And again, this has to do with global crises such as the pandemic, which has affected the workings of university and the academia more broadly across the world. But I'm confident that this generation of scholars will be able to contribute greatly, even more greatly perhaps, than my generation or the generation before me in flying the flag of Asian studies and in making sure that it continues to be considered relevant to academic and public discourse globally, not just in the Philippines or any other specific Asian country, but globally, and in ways that are new, simply because the challenges that you face now are new. In many ways, they're new. In other ways, they're new manifestations of old problems, but certainly they are presenting themselves in new ways. I mean, we always knew that pandemics and so on, in a world where people move about very easily and very quickly, could not be something that can be dealt with on a country basis. But more and more now we are aware that things like the pandemic actually throw out into the open all of these things that Asian studies scholars have long been concerned about because of the kinds of societies that they study, but have tended to be pushed aside by particular kinds of academic orthodoxies. And by this I mean problems such as social injustice, social inequalities, unequal access to power and resources. All of this has been, these have been put up to the front by the pandemic, and the way that the pandemic has played out in various countries, the way that it's created chaos, and in what way, and also the ability or inability of states to deal with them, the ability or inability of society to address them, all have to do with matters that we as scholars of Asia have long been concerned with, and I think these new challenges provide us with new opportunities to bring our concerns to the global stage. And I am very confident that our younger graduates here will be better equipped than myself or my colleagues of my generation in facing up to this challenge. So once again, congratulations to the graduates, and congratulations to the Asian Center at the University of the Philippines. Thank you.
Going to graduate school while working full-time was challenging, but the word challenging could not capture it all. Studying at the Asian Center was a nurturing experience. It was not all about books and journals. It was learning with your feet on the ground, and as much as one could, we tried to learn and see things through the perspective of the members of the society and culture we wish to learn more about. I have lots of beautiful memories with my Asian Center family, and I found here not only knowledge, but also wonderful friends. For all these, I'm deeply grateful to my Asian Center family, my DOST and RTI International family, my friends, my loved ones, especially my dear sister, for all they've given me. Support, encouragement, love, patience, and believing that I could make it. Most importantly, I'm grateful for God's grace. Thank you, Asian Center, for the wonderful journey.
Lots of adjustment came with entering grad school. I had to learn how to balance my time for personal, work, and school matters. I had to improve, of course, my writing, my presentation skills, and all other academic skills to graduate level quality. I also had to have the energy to go to class after work and do my readings. And now, as I end my 4-year stay in AC, I look back on all these things that I never really thought I could have pulled off consistently. And I never really thought I'd see this growth in me. And speaking of growth, I actually started out in AC as a quiet and shy type of student. I never made eye contact with my professors. I never really dared ask questions even though I had clarifications or concerns. And now I'm happy that I turned out to be a student who has earned enough kapal ng mukha to, ask burning questions or raise concerns or clarifications. And I'm very happy to see this version of myself, someone who's braver, but still deliberate on what she asks or contributes in class. And I thank AC for this. So to my professors, Ma'am Tonette, Ma'am Michelle, Sir June, Sir Rolly, Sir Ariel, Dean Santa Rita, and of course my China Studies queens, Ma'am Eileen and Ma'am Tina, thank you for helping a timid girl get out of her shell. To my classmates and friends in AC, I miss you all and I wish you're all safe and doing well. To my, of course, to my mom and dad, my family, my sisters, my loved ones, I couldn't have done this all without you. Thank you all so much for your support. And to my fellow graduates, congrats to us on this milestone.
My journey in AC was not an easy one. I applied for a master's at a period in my life when there is too much going on. It was a struggle balancing my full-time work, my responsibilities in the family, and my studies. And there were many times when I felt like I was taking on more than I can handle, especially in times of self-doubt, and then my own body was literally failing me. But it was seeing my professors do their jobs exceptionally well and with passion, even if they're tired, that inspired me not to give up. I really thank them all for that. And I always felt lucky and privileged to see them give everything to impart to my classmates and me their knowledge and wisdom. They always showered us with graciousness and kindness because they know fully well what we're going through as students since they too went through the same before. They helped me become a better person, better worker, and a better learner. So I extend my gratitude to Asian Center and all of its professors, Dean Santa Rita, Mr. Talampas, Dr. Kimbo, Dr. Natividad, Dr. Santa Maria, Dr. Aquiza, Dr. Clemente, Dr. Celero, Dr. Palumbarit. Thank you for your patience and support, for without you, I will not be here today. I would also like to give a special mention to Sir Bobby for always being so accommodating and responsive to all my concerns, and to the AC security guards for always smiling and greeting me at 8 p.m. They were very comforting. I would also like to acknowledge all the love and care I received from my family, my friends, and my workmates. Your encouraging words really helped me a lot. And to my fellow graduates, congratulations to us, and I wish us all the best.
To all my fellow Asian Center College graduates, go sochugo omerito gozaimasu. Imamade honto ni ganbatte ne. I share with you the sentiments of feeling gratitude as we celebrate all the hard work we have rendered to finish our masteral. Today, we celebrate our struggles and triumphs to be where we are now. I extend my deepest gratitude to the Asian Center faculty and staff who have guided us in our academic journey. I am also grateful to my family and friends for all your love and support. Truly, this journey was not easy, but having the support of the family and academic community, it made things a lot less difficult. Thank you for showing me that even when things get hard, pushing through leads to power and strength. Today, I can finally say I have reached the finish line. If there's a takeaway to all the experiences that I have, I would like to encapsulate it with a Japanese idiom, o baitori. This comes from the kanji of the 4 trees that bloom in spring: cherry, plum, apricot, and peach. Each flower blooms in its own time, and it's a reminder that everyone is in their own journey through life. Therefore, o baitori is the acceptance of not comparing yourself to others and focusing on your own growth. There's never any rush to get to be where you need to be. Forgive yourself for your shortcomings and continue to grow. For like flowers, we will bloom in our own time and in our own individual ways. To everyone who have helped me to be where I am now, domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Good afternoon to everyone. What a journey it has been. From the awkward first day presentations we had in class to the beautiful friendships created. From the sleepless nights we had to complete and pass the requirements for a class within the deadline, to the struggles to arrive on time in class as we pleaded our bosses to leave work a bit earlier than usual. From the long lines we have queued at the shopping center to photocopy the readings at ingatan sila na hindi mabasa dahil sa tagal ng pinila mo, bumuhos na ang malakas na ulan. To the shared laughters and dinners in class kasi hanggang 8 p.m. ang classes natin. Some of us even had to adopt to this new normal of virtual online classes because of the current pandemic. We were used to having great face-to-face discussions in class about the complex readings or a classmate's interesting working paper. Kaya nakakapanibago talaga ang mga pagbabago. But yet here we are, we made it. We have earned our degree and made it to the last step of this journey. Graduate na tayo. Una sa lahat, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga professors ng Asian Center for imparting us not only with the methods and approaches in studying Asian studies, but also with the strategies and approaches to face the struggles in life. Sa lahat ng naging classmates at friends ko sa Asian Center, maraming salamat din sa tulong ninyo at sa pagbabahagi ng inyong mga kaalaman. Thank you to my family sa lahat ng suporta nyo sa akin through all these years. To my fellow graduates, congratulations. May the fruits born from our years here in the Asian Center serve as the new seedlings in our pursuit of knowledge and to further flourish the studies on and for Asia. I'd like to quote a few lines from a favorite song that helped me survive the hardships of this journey. Follow your dream like breaker. Even if it breaks down, don't ever run backwards, never. Because the dawn right before the sun rises is the darkest. Congratulations again, fellow graduates, and thank you very much, Asian Center.
Confucius once said, "It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop." This quote best describes my journey to achieving my master's degree. It took me more than 5 years to arrive to this special day wherein I can finally say, sa wakas, tapos na rin, graduate na ako. The journey that I went through may have been full of difficulties and uncertainties, but in the end, I decided not to give up. The 5 years that I spent in Asian Center were nothing short of wonderful. Without a doubt, I will cherish all the lessons that AC has imparted to me and bring them with me to the next chapter of my life. With this, I would like to express my sincerest gratitude to UP Asian Center, most especially to my professors, Dr. Santa Rita, Dr. Clemente, Dr. Sevilla, Dr. Silero, Dr. Palumbarit, Dr. Natividad, Dr. Medina, Professor Talampas, Professor C, Dr. Ravena, and to the late Dr. Mahiwo and Dr. Baviera. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. I would also like to thank my family, friends, colleagues, and my girlfriend for guiding and believing in me. Today, we proudly wear this sublime as a symbol of the culmination of our hard work. Congratulations, my fellow graduates. I wish you all the best.
Hello everyone! It's actually sad and disappointing that our batch was not able to have a physical or face-to-face graduation. Due to the pandemic, I even had to go back home in Davao City very abruptly, and so I was not able to personally express my gratitude to the AC professors and staff who have made an intellectual and personal impact in my life, as well as my classmates turned friends from the university. In this regard, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you. To my grad school friends, thank you for bringing me out of the dorm. During the first few months that I was in UP, I just studied a lot, but you made me realize the importance of the principle, work hard, party harder. To Dr. Santa Rita, my program advisor, thank you for being accommodating whenever I had some issues that would come up during enrollment. I hope to be a professor that is as interesting as you. To Dr. Rakiza, who has been my professor in not one but 3 courses, thank you for your extreme patience during our classes. I am definitely grateful as well for your cultivation of my research skills. To Dr. Sevilla, I highly appreciate your foreign relations classes because it gave me space to do research on topics that I am interested in. Thank you for helping me improve my research ideas as well. To Dr. Santa Maria, studying Southeast Asian culture was something that I was not really academically interested in. But because of you, it made me appreciate it better and made me realize how much of it actually affects other aspects like politics, economics, and international relations. Thank you for that, sir. To Professor Rolly, I was going to bring you Davao coffee as a way of showing my gratitude for really assisting me from the beginning of my grad school application when I flew to Manila all by myself for the first time until I finished my degree. But anyway, thank you, sir. Thank you to Sir Bobby for always replying to my inquiry emails, and thank you sa mga Kuya Guard for telling me na late na ako kasi dumating na ang prof. Apart from my professors and friends, I would like to thank my family as well. Thank you to my sister who was the first one to support me in going to grad school. Thank you to my mom for her constant prayers, to my dad for his financial support. I do hope to see everyone in AC soon. Padayon!
I was actually quite unsure that I would be able to come this far, considering that I have already been taking up graduate school courses at the Asian Center since 2014. Yet here I am today in your presence in this ceremony, a proud graduate of a Master of Arts degree in Philippine Studies at the University of the Philippine Kiliman Asian Center. I'd like to thank, of course, my dearest professors and mentors, to Dr. Cecilia Medina and her gentleness, to Dr. Matthew Santamaria and his timeless humor, to Dr. Carol Sabuchea and your infinite wisdom, to Dr. Dulce Natividad and her caring disposition, to Dr. Enelito Sevilla and his contagious energy, to Dr. Vicente Villa for his boundless knowledge. Of course, I'd also like to thank Dr. Jovi Santarita for his graciousness and generosity, to Dr. Noel Morotilla as well for his guiding hand that helped me finish my thesis as well as my studies. And of course, who can ever forget Dr. Ruben Cañete and his greatness. I have a lot to thank, of course, but in this short message, I'd like to give special emphasis to my dearest professors and mentors, because it was under you in your classes that I became a better person, better than I ever was when I first started my graduate school experience at the Asian Center. For that, I thank you so much. Maraming salamat po and mabuhay.
Nais ko pong ipahayag ang aking taus-pusong pasasalamat sa lahat ng mga naging kabahagi ng aking paglalakbay sa Asian Center. Sa aking mga naging guro, marami pong salamat sa inyong ibinigay na inspirasyon sa akin. Lalong-lalo na sa aking thesis advisor na si Dr. Moratilla at sa iba pang mga kasapi ng aking panel na si Dr. Rakisa at si Dr. Kalingasan mula sa EDO. Marami pong salamat sa inyong paggabay sa akin upang matapos ko po ang aking thesis. At dahil nabanggit ko naman na po ang karamihan ng aking mensahe sa aking response kanina, ang iba ko pa pong gustong sabihin ay ipapahayag ko na lamang po gamit ang isang kanta.
Sa wakas ay nakuha ko na ang aking hinahangad. Sa wakas ay natapos ko na ang aking sinimulan. Kay tagal ko nang naghintay at nagsunod ng kilay. Ngayon masasabi ko nang matamis ang tagumpay.
Maraming salamat, Asian Center!
I have been in the UP Asian Center for the past 5 years. During that time, I learned and experienced many things that contributed to my growth, not only as a student and as a scholar, but also as a person. Because of this, I will forever be grateful to my professors who offered valuable insights about the Philippines and its society. To my thesis advisor, Dr. Dulce Natividad, for her guidance during my research work. To my classmates for the memorable classes, and to the staff and personnel of the Asian Center for their assistance to students like me. I will always consider Asian Center as my second home. To my fellow graduates, this is just the start of our next journey. Let us use the knowledge and wisdom that we have gained for the betterment of our families, our nation, and hopefully the world. Padayon at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Good day, everyone. I know today is a special day. It's a day to celebrate with family and friends, professors and colleagues, and of course, our fellow graduates. This is one of those days where it seems like you just feel all kinds of things. But nonetheless, this is probably one of those moments where you can look back on and feel a certain kind of achievement. And this achievement wouldn't have been possible without the guidance and teachings that everyone at the Asian Center has given us. So, a big thank you to all the people who have helped us along the way. When I started taking my master's classes, I was this quiet girl who was always a little shy to share her thoughts. But having the discussions every day in class meant that I had to speak up, share my ideas with other people, present them at conferences, which was always nerve-wracking for someone like me. Thus, my experience at AC was always a step outside of my own comfort zone. Aside from personal development, taking up my master's has helped me dig deeper into our culture, our society, and all the other problems we may have as a nation. I wouldn't be able to sum up all the things that we learned in less than 2 minutes, but one thing is definitely for sure. As scholars ng bayan, there will always be a need for us to go out there and contribute in whatever small way we can. This university not only taught us how to discuss theories in class, but also to impart whatever we learn to the people. Theory and practice, as the saying goes. So, to my fellow graduates, may we always be guided by the call to serve the people. A big congratulations to everyone. Padayon.
To all my fellow graduates, professors, Asian Center staff, and friends, thank you so much for all the years that you've helped me grow into the person that I've become today. Endings are strange. Sometimes I'm in my first semester of grad school writing my first grad school paper, trying to cram an entire pizza by myself, and I have no idea what I just got myself into. And then, later on, in the second semester of grad school, I would feel like my life has finally begun, and I was so excited to finally be there for it, learning from professors, from peers, from classmates. Everything just felt so alive at that time. And then, just 2 years ago, walking the long stretch of night home with my friends, feeling like sometimes things don't have to make sense in the moment. You just live for it while it's there. And now I'm here, sometime in the present, sometime in the twilight of my 20s, closing a chapter in my life that I didn't know would close this way. And yet, despite everything, I'm so grateful and so thankful for everything that has happened to me and everyone whom I've ever met in this journey at the Asian Center, at the university. So, maraming salamat po sa lahat at padayon!
dekano na si Dr. Santarita at sa mga punong administrador ng Asian Center, sa lahat ng mga kasapi ng faculty at mga propesor na nanonood ngayon, sa lahat ng mga non-teaching staff at sa mga iba pang mga personnel na bumubuo sa ating kolehiyo, at sa mga kasama kong magsisipagtapos sa araw na ito, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Isang malaking karangalan para sa akin ang magpahayag ng tugon ng mga nagsipagtapos sa hapong ito. Kinikilala ko na ang bawat isa sa amin ay mayroong magkakaibang mga karanasan at paglalakbay sa aming buhay mag-aaral sa Asian Center. Para sa ilan, maiksi lamang ang paglalakbay na ito. Ngunit gaano man ito kaiksi, 5 taon, 4 na taon, o kahit na 3 taon lang, sigurado akong nakaipon din sila ng maraming alaala na kanilang babaunin sa kanilang mga buhay sa labas ng ating kolehiyo. Para sa mga ilan naman, na katulad ko, napakahaba na ng aming naging paglalakbay. Kinailangan kong sagarin ang maximum residency rule at mag-apila pa upang mapayagan akong matapos ang aking masterado sa loob ng 12 taon. Anuman ang aming naging paglalakbay, alam kong pantay-pantay naming nararanasan sa araw na ito ang tamis at ang ligaya ng pagkamit ng aming hinahangad na degree. Noong nagsimula ako sa Asian Center, noong 2009 pa, akala ko ay isa ako sa mga mag-aaral na maiksi lamang ang magiging paglalakbay sa ating kolehiyo. Full-time student pa ako noon at naaalala ko ang pagkasabik at ang kaba sa bawat klaseng pinapasukan ko. Kitang-kita at damang-dama kasi sa bawat klase na aking dinaluhan ang husay ng mga talakayan at balitaktakan. Nagsisimula siyempre sa kahusayan at dedikasyon ng aming mga naging guro at mga propesor na hamunin kami at bigyan kami ng maraming mga pagkakataon na magnilay at tuklasin ang aming sariling boses at pananaw sa mundo. Naaalala ko noong simula na nagkaroon din ako ng takot at pagdududa dahil nasabi ko sa sarili ko na ang gagaling naman ng mga kaklase ko at ang gagaling naman ng mga propesor dito sa Asian Center. Kung ano-anong mga teorya mula sa iba't ibang mga disiplina at larangan ng pag-aaral na ang kanilang ginagamit sa kanilang pagsasalita at pagpapaliwanag. Samantalang ako, unang beses ko palang marinig ang mga panghalan ng mga bumuo ng teoryang kanilang pinag-uusapan. Napaisip din ako, bagay ba ako dito? At kakayanin ko bang habulin ang mga nalalaman na nila? Kinailangan ng pagpupursige, pagbabasa, pananaliksik, pagsali sa mga diskurso at balitaktakan na ito sa klase, at pagbabasa pang muli bago ko natuklasan ang sarili kong kakayahan. Para din sa ilan sa ating mga magtatapos ngayong hapon, isa sa pinakamalaking hamon ng pag-aaral ng isang kursong graduado ay ang pagkakaroon ng ibang mga intindihin sa buhay. Mayroon akong naging mga kaklase na hindi na nakatapos dahil sa tindi ng mga pangangailangan sa kanilang mga trabaho o kaya ay dahil sa mga nagbabagong prioridad sa kanilang mga pamilya. Hindi biro ang pag-aaral ng masterado kasabay ng pagtatrabaho at ng pagganap sa mga responsibilidad bilang anak, bilang asawa, bilang kapatid, bilang magulang. Uulit-ulitin mong tanungin sa iyong sarili na, kaya ko pa ba? At gusto ko pa bang tapusin ang sinimulan ko? Iba-iba ang nagiging sagot ng bawat mag-aaral dito. Pero para sa mga kasama kong magsisipagtapos ngayong hapon, alam kong ang sagot dito ay isang malakas na oo. Iba ang antas ng pagsisikap at pagpupursige na inaasahan sa mga mag-aaral ng Asian Center. Kung gusto mong makatapos ng iyong degree, dapat may kakayahan kang magsaliksik at sumuri ng napakaraming mga readings. Dapat handa kang pag-isipan ang mga bagay gamit ang maraming mga teorya mula sa magkakaibang mga disiplina ng sabay-sabay. Dapat maging komportable ka sa iyong kakayahan na maglahad ng mga ulat tungkol sa lahat ng iyong mga binasa. At dapat ay handa kang gumawa ng orihinal na pananaliksik gamit ang sarili mong boses sa bawat klase na in-enroll mo. Higit sa lahat, dapat handa kang isabay ito sa iba mo pang mga prioridad sa iyong karera at pamilya. Kung hindi ka handa rito, hindi ito para sa'yo. Iba ang Asian Center. Kaya nga, iba rin ang kasiyahan na nadarama ko at ng mga kasama kong nagsisipagtapos sa hapong ito. Masasabi natin sa hapong ito na bagay nga tayo rito at kinaya natin ang lahat ng ito. Sa ngalan ng mga kasama kong nagsipagtapos, nais ko lamang ipahayag ang aming lubos at taus-pusong pasasalamat sa lahat ng mga bumubuo ng Asian Center, mula sa mga naabutan naming mga dekano at mga naging leader ng ating kolehiyo, hanggang sa mga naging propesor at mga guro namin na hindi nagsawa, nagabayan kami at bigyan kami ng pagkakataon na matuklasan ang aming lugar sa nakakatakot na mundo ng akademya. Hanggang sa mga staff sa mga opisina, sa library, sa mga security guard at mga maintenance na laging handa na bigyan kami ng tulong at suporta sa aming pag-aaral. Hindi man namin ito nasasabi o naipapahayag sa inyo, napakalaki ng inyong naging epekto sa amin. Wala kami dito ngayon kung wala kayo. Ang aming mga pangarap ay naging realidad ng dahil sa inyo. At maipapangako namin na ang antas ng kahusayan na aming naranasan dito ay aming isasabuhay sa aming mga karera. At ang antas ng pagsisikap at pagpupursige na kinailangan naming daanan para kami ay makapagtapos ay aming isasabuhay at ilalapat sa iba't ibang mga aspeto ng aming buhay. Iba ang Asian Center. Kaya ngayong araw, ng aming pagtatapos, nais kong ipaalala sa mga kasama ko na dapat iba rin tayo. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang hapon sa ating lahat.
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduates of the UP Asian Center Master of Arts in Asian Studies, Master in Philippine Studies, and Master of Arts in Philippine Studies.
Gayahan ko po ang lahat na tumayo upang manumpa bilang kasapi ng ating Asian Center Alumni Association. Itaas po ang kanang kamay at sundan po ang aking pagbigkas bawat linya. Ako, ibigay ang buong pangalan, ay taimtim na nanunumpa. Nagagampanan ko ng buong husay at katapatan sa abot ng aking kakayahan. Ang mga tungkulin ng isang nagtapos sa Asian Center na ngayon ay kasapi ng Asian Center Alumni Association. Aking itataguyod at ipagtatanggol ang mga simulain at adhikain ng samahan tungo sa patuloy na pagyabong ng marugdog na pag-uugnayan ng mga nagsipagtapos sa Asian Center ng Pamantasan ng Pilipinas. Kusa kong babalikatin ang pananagutang ito na walang anumang pasubali o hangaring umiwas. Kasiyahan nawa ako ng Diyos.